Next is step 14, which is the rack gear. That's bag 9. First thing I like to do is take off this rod end and grind about a millimeter, 1 or 2 millimeters off of this rod end. Don't cut it with a knife because you want it to be perfectly square. So that gives you a lot better support when this is screwed together, and it prevents you from damaging this threaded rod in a crash. So I use my Dremel tool, my little cutoff wheel, and just ground those nice and flat. And I'll thread that back on there, making sure that there's no gap. Between the two. That really strengthens that joint. And the next thing to do is add this G10 backup arm. The end with the extra hole in it lines up with that little hole. We use those super tiny wood screws. Those make sure that you don't have any screw protruding past the G10, or it would lock up in that backup arm roller. You want to make sure you don't have any gaps in this G10, so it's a nice consistent thickness. You want to get it nice and snug, but you don't want to strip it out either. Okay, we'll do the other one. When you put these screws in, it causes the backup, it causes the rack gear to bend. But that's okay, it doesn't hurt anything. I just let it bend. It's more important to make sure you don't have any gaps and try to keep it straight. If you try to force it straight, you'll create gaps between the G10 piece and the Durlin piece. Now we have a little stop screw that goes in the end, but it's a little long by about 1 millimeter. Okay, so I'm gonna try to open up that screw hole that wood screw goes into and kind of move it more towards the end. If it's opened up enough, this wood screw will bite into it. If it's not opened up and the wood screw doesn't bite into it, the wood screw will pull the G10 piece off of the Durlin piece, and you'll end up with a gap. But if it bites in, you'll get a good screw joint and it'll be tight. I like to install this with just a little bit of SecA. I'll push really hard, making sure I get good engagement of that screw into the Durlin. Get a nice tight G10 piece with that wood screw installed. So this one, I'll try to move that hole in the plastic a little bit more towards the end. And I'll check to see if I can get the wood screw to bite into the plastic. Which it did. Doesn't pull that G10 piece off of there. Small drop of SecA. Put the wood screw back in, pushing very hard to get it to bite into the plastic. Nice tight joint. And that's the end of step 14.